about this special place and about this special day that we all find ourselves at. I'm especially honored to be in the presence of the incredible men and women from the Fleet Reserve Association, the VFW, the American Legion, the Military Officers Association, the ROTC, the Scouts that have done such a wonderful job of preparing this beautiful day for us and helping us understand the importance of this particular day in this particular place. On Memorial Day, we come here to remember and reflect about the hundreds of thousands of military men and women who have laid down their lives to allow us all the incredible freedoms and privileges we enjoy as Americans. Let us all reflect and remember and be present amongst these rolling hills of Poway at Dearborn Memorial Park. This place is a sacred place. These are hallowed grounds that serve as the final resting place of 744 of our country's finest Americans who have served so honorably in our nation's military. They surround us here today. They honor us with their presence. Today, 6 of them will remind us of the incredible, selfless sacrifice the men and women of our great nation military have made for all of us. 2 will serve as reminders of the soldiers, sailors, and airmen who fought and gave their all during the invasion of Normandy, the Battle of Iwo Jima, and the battles throughout World War II. An Army Air Force sergeant will serve as a stark reminder of the numbers of lives lost in the Battle of Incheon and other battles in Korea that stole away the lives of our bravest and brightest Americans. Another will seek us having to harken back and reflect in the guerrilla warfare in the jungles of Vietnam, including the Tet Offensive, that claimed the lives of fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, and friends and loved ones. A young Marine will be the shining light of remembrance from his final resting place on a knoll in this very park, of the men and women who fought with him in Desert Storm, and who gave their lives in a distant land, so far away from their homes, so far away from their families. Today, we will also remember the life of a Civil War veteran, who will be a reminder of us not to forget those killed in the Battle of Gettysburg and throughout the Civil War. And it is interesting to note that the first Memorial Day, then called Decoration Day, was 1 month after the conclusion of the Civil War. Indeed, these are hallowed grounds. Behind me, along the fence line, right against the fence over there, is the final resting place of U.S. Army Infantryman James B. Carveth of Company B, 32 Regiment of the Iowa Infantry, who fought in the Civil War. Infantryman Carveth reminds us by his presence at this park to pray and remember the souls of the 498,332 soldiers who perished in the Civil War. U.S. Navy Machinist Mate William E. Ross, who is to my right by the beautiful jacaranda tree that you see over there, fought in World War II and lends his presence here to this park to remind all who come here that he stands in review for all of the 405,399 Americans who left the beautiful shores of this great country in World War II to fight in foreign lands, never to return to their homeland again. And to remind us of the 116,515 Americans who perished in the trenches and fields in World War I. He is also joined today by another World War II veteran, United States Coast Guard Machinist Mate Warren Charles Warner, who rests in the hill right in front of me. He represents the 679 Coast Guard military killed fighting for our country over the past century. U.S. Air Force Sergeant Ronald Lee Ward, whose headstone is behind me to the left, was a sergeant in the United States Air Force in Korea. He represents and honors by his presence in this beautiful park in Poway the 54,246 Americans who fought valiantly through the swamps of Korea, never to see the sunset again in this great country. U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer Richard John Chanda's headstone, right to the left of the stage here, fought his way home from the jungles of Vietnam and rests in our park, in our city, to serve as a reminder that although he came back to the country and the city he loved, 58,209 of his soldiers in arms never got that opportunity. And high on the hilltop, where that whistle sounds, we are so honored to serve as the resting place of the United States Marine Corps Corporal Christopher Lydon, a Poway High graduate who fought in Operation Desert Storm. Look to him and reflect on the 8,471 men and women who fought in Desert Storm, who gave all in Desert Storm in the global war on terror, and gave their lives to protect us, including 2 Poway graduates, Army soldier Ken Nick-O'Shea and U.S. Marine Jason Hill, who are honored at our Poway Veterans Park and who rest in peace at Fort Rosecrans over the mountains to our west. You see, these are hallowed grounds. From my father, United States Marine Corps Corporal James F. Cunningham's headstone at Calverton National Cemetery on the fields of Long Island, New York, to Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C., and across this great country, to Fort Rosecrans here in San Diego, these honorable men and women who mark this and other memorial parks and cemeteries across this nation and in this world with their headstones acknowledging their service to our country have to mean more. They have to mean more to us than just concrete, marble, granite headstones adorned with flags and flowers just once a year. They have to stand for something. They have to stand for a reminder for all the men and women who have given so much for all of us, and for the unimaginable horror and the pain that the families and friends endured at their loss. They have to mean more than just headstones. They have to be a constant and enduring tribute, a reminder to all of us who has fought and died for us. They will never be forgotten. It's Civil War veteran James Carvath, World War II veterans William Ross, Warren Warner, Korean War veteran Ronald Ward, Vietnam veteran John Chadwick, Desert Storm veteran Kristen Lydon, and our recently departed friends, World War II veteran, United States Navy Lieutenant Hilton, and our good friend, Navy Commander Ed Harmon, could speak to you today. There is no doubt that they would say on this day and on all days that follow, we should never forget those who have sacrificed so much for us on the battlefields of this vast globe and world we live in. And that we should always remember that here in Dearborn Memorial Park, these are indeed hallowed grounds that we walk on. May God bless the men and women of the United States military who we have brought home to rest in our country, and those who are still missing. May God bless the men and women of our military who find themselves in harm's way today, and may God bless America. Thank you.